Okay, yeah, so good evening once again. Yeah, welcome to another class. My name is Ikechi Patrom, and yeah, so this is Android. Yeah, Android class. I think this should be our 11th class, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so today we're going to be diving into something much more interesting. Okay, having to talk about the app theme, material design, and the likes. Okay, so what you're going to be learning today. By the end of the class, okay, you should be able to, know how to select effective colors for your application according to material design principles. Okay, you should also be able to know how to set colors as part of your application theme. Okay, yeah, you should be able to do that by the end of this class. Also, you should be able to, apply a style to a view. Okay, we'll talk about the RGB components of a color, and then we'll also know how to change the look of an application using the theme. Yeah, using the theme, and of course, understand the importance of color contrast. And then, if time permits, okay, we'll go back to our tip calculator application and then apply what we have learned, what we have just learned into, making it look more beautiful, more polished, give it a very good, user experience. Yeah, so that's basically what we have for today. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen right about now. Okay, so yes, okay, so that's fine. So first things first, we're going to be talking about design and color. Okay, we're going to be talking about design and color. Okay, now, so with design, we're going to be talking specifically about material design. Okay, now material design is inspired by the physical world and its textures, including how objects reflect light and cast shadows. Okay, and it provides guidelines on how to build your application UI in a readable, attractive, and consistent manner. Okay. Also, we have what we call the material theming, that's THEMING, which allows you to adopt material design for your application with guidance on customizing the colors, the shapes, the typography. Okay. So, well, let's talk a bit about color. Okay, let's take a bit about color. So let me open up. I want to, let's see. Let's go to our colors. So I really want to pick up something. So you can actually see some of these boxes here. So yeah, just wanted to open this up. Okay, okay. So now color, of course, color is all around us. Okay, both in real world and even in the digital, space. Okay. So the first thing to know is not everyone sees color the same way. Now, this is very, very important to note. Not everyone sees color the same way. So noting that, it's now very important to choose colors for your application so users can effectively use your application. Okay, choosing colors with enough color contrast is just one part of building, more accessible applications. Okay, maybe you just choose a color and you give it enough contrast. No, that's just one part. It's not the whole. It's not everything. Okay, but like I said, one of the most important things here to note is that not everyone sees color the same way you do. Okay, note that it is very, very, very important. Now, a color can be represented in what we call as a 3 hexadecimal number. Okay, you can actually see it here where you have this hashtag, and you have the hash or pound sign, FFBB, 86FC and the likes. Okay, so now you have the. Okay, so let me just at this point let me just write out something. So we have, it could be 00. Okay, to now, and I'm going to explain that to FF. So let's do that. And then between, so 0 to 255. Okay, and so what this does here, this numbers, this basically represents, the green, red, and blue. That's what we call RGB. Okay, the green, red, green, and what, blue. Okay, so the higher the number, the more of that component. So a typical example could be, so let me use FF. Of course, I'll explain what this FF is. 800080. Okay, now the 80 is red, the 00 green, and then the other 80 blue. Okay, now this FF, okay, is what we call it alpha. Okay, now let me put it this way. Now let's use this color code now. This color code I just wrote out. I'm going to take this off now. So let's add a color and give it that color code. So let me say my color. Let me give it a name called my color. Sorry, it shouldn't be capital letter. My color. And then I'm going to give it the value. So you can see this is what we have. This is the color that we generated. Okay, this is the color that we generated. Now, so if you look at this, you can actually see from here that for the red, you have 128. The green, you have 0. That means you do not have any green in this color. Like there's no, atom of green in it. But you have a bit of blue. Okay, so you have 128. So that's why you can see, that's why I said 00 is for what, green. There is no value for green, it's just 0. Now, so one thing to note is this: a color can also be defined using an alpha value. Okay, an alpha value of 0, 0 to FF. Okay, and what does this represent? The 00 represents 0%. I think that's this, yeah, 0%. Okay, and that's 0% means that it is fully transparent. Okay, it means that it is fully transparent. While the FF, okay, represents 100%, meaning that it is fully opaque. Okay, so when you include this, the alpha value is the first of the 4 hexadecimals. That's why you can see this here. Okay, it's the first of the 4 hexadecimals of ARD. So now it's you can now call it ARGB. That is alpha, red, green, and blue. Okay, so if we do not include an alpha, it is just assumed. Okay, if we don't actually include the F, okay, it is assumed to be what, FF. That's 100% opaque. Okay, so just know that. So, well, you don't actually need to generate these hexadecimals yourself. Okay, there are tools that are available for this, of course, which I actually just showed you. Okay, so that's just a bit about color. Okay, that's just a bit about colors. Now let's talk about themes. Okay, let's talk about themes. Now, a style, okay, a style can specify attributes for a view. Okay, a style, it can specify attributes for a view, such as the font color, the font size, the background color, and a lot of them. Okay, but a theme is a collection of styles. Okay, I'll take that back again. The style is just it specifies, attributes for a view. Okay, attributes could be the size of the font, color, and background and everything. But a theme is a collection of styles that is applied to an entire application. Okay, or an activity or probably just a view hierarchy. Depends on where you want to apply it, okay? Not just an individual view. You can apply a theme to an individual view, okay? But you can apply it to a view hierarchy or an activity or your entire application. Now, when you apply a theme to an app or an activity or a view group or a view, now the theme is applied to that element and all of its children. So themes can also apply styles to non-view elements, just like such as your status bar, for an instance, or over your window background. Okay, so let's actually try some of all these things out. Okay, so I've created an empty application. I just called it tip time. So I've created an empty application. Okay, so let's just do something. Let's just do a very, very quick layout. So I hope I can do this as quick as possible. So I'm going to do this in XML. So first things first. So I'm going to introduce you to, of course, for some of us who have not used it. So let's use a linear layout. Okay, this is another view group. Okay, this is another view group. Okay, so this basically it arranges, the child views in a linear way. Okay, either horizontally or vertically. So now, like I said, either horizontally or vertically, but by default, it arranges it horizontally, right? Yeah, so I'm assuming I'm to just add another text. You can see it goes to the right of it. So, but for purpose of what we want to do, we want it to arrange it vertically. So it has an attribute called orientation. So I'll change the orientation to vertical, and then you can see that comes down. Okay, so I'm going to give it the linear, I'm going to give it a margin, okay, of 16 dp, so that there's, kind of like a space, no, not margin start, margin, both left, right, top and bottom, 16 dp. Yeah, so from every corner, okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's move on. So quickly, I'm going to keep this text view, but I'm going to change this text to, I'm going to call it primary color. Okay. Now, there's what we call gravity, a property called gravity. Now, if you notice, there is gravity and there is layout gravity. Okay, so layout gravity, that one is applied to the layout, that is the text view, while the gravity is going to be applied to the text. Okay, so I'm going to set the layout gravity first, center horizontal. So center this text view, but center it horizontally. So when I click on that, you see, yeah, so it centers it horizontally. Now, if I say center vertically, it should go to the middle. It just centers it, but on the vertical point of view. Okay, so but we want horizontal. So center horizontal. Now, then the text. Okay, so first of all, let's get text size of, let's say 12 SP. We just need something small, nothing too much. Now, all caps, where I want everything to be in capital letter. Okay. Then that is for that. Then for the text, I'm now going to say center vertical. Okay, so that's just to keep it all. Okay, so I'm just going to duplicate this. Okay, let it replace this one with the properties there. Okay, so yeah, that's what we have now. But I want the I'm going to call this secondary color. Secondary color. Okay, with the same, but now I want a margin top. Okay, so there's going to be a bit of space. So I'm going to add a margin top of, let's say 10 dp. Okay, yeah, so there's a bit of space. So, well, Let's manually give this. Let this not wrap content. Let's give it a height. Okay, 48 dp. Yeah, let's give it a height. Let's give it a height of 48 dp. Okay, and that looks better. Then, so this is where you actually appreciate the center vertical attribute. Okay, so if I take this off, you see that it goes to the top and and stays there. So that's where you appreciate that. And then so I want a button. So I'm gonna add a button. Okay, I'm gonna add a button and then let that just wrap content around there. And I want the layout gravity rather, center horizontal. So it just goes there. Okay, good. And then yeah, it's fine. Just the text should just say button, nothing serious. Not really doing much, something too serious. And then I'm going to add one more thing. You probably have not, used it or seen it. It's called a floating action button. Okay. I'm just going to wrap content. Okay, so I think I'll just okay, so yeah, so gravity, the layout gravity, center it horizontally, and then actually need to add a description, actually a content description. So let's just say test icon. Nothing. Okay, and then so we're going to need so let's add and let's get a. I want to add an email. So this floating action button you can use to send a message and stuff. So I need an icon. So I'm going to go to my drawable, right click, and then how can I actually get an icon? So I'll just right click and then come down to vector assets. Okay, and then I'll click on vector assets. So yeah, we have some stuff here. So if you have a local, maybe you have an XVG already on your computer, you can actually just upload that, but I don't. So I'm going to get the one that Android has actually provided for me. So I'll click on this clip at the image here. And then I'm going to search for email. Yes, so this is what I'm looking for. So I'll just click on this, click on OK. I could just rename it to could just take out this baseline, take out the number. Okay, that's fine. So you can see the size. Of course, you can manipulate the size, but 24 by 24 is the default. And then black, you could give it a color if you want to, but and then you can see the opacity 100 is fully, opaque, but this is transparent. So look at this. They are having the FF, okay, and then this is the 0, 0. Okay, so I'll just click on next. And then I'm just going to finish that. Okay, so to add that, I'm going to call my SRC, but I want to use the app. Hope I can see that. Yeah. So I want to use the app SRC compact. Okay. And then I'm going to. So when I just type email, because that's the name, it just helps me find it, and then I'll just click on enter. So you can see that adds that image there. So we could just give it a bit of space. So I'm just going to say margin top of 10 dp, and then we're good. And then I'll close that out. Okay, so I think hopefully we were fast enough. Okay, so okay, so let's extract this. Let's extract this. Let's just extract this just for the sake of leading people the right way, doing the right thing. Okay, and then of course need to extract this also. Okay, so do we have a warning? Do we have any other warning? None that I can see. Okay, there's no warning, so I think we're good to go. Okay, so so I'm going to run this, and then let's see what we have. Okay, let's see what we have. Let's see what we have when we run this. Okay, so, yep. Okay, so of course, let's reinstall and restart. Okay, so yeah, so this is what we have. Okay, so the app actually it includes the so the text view and the button. Okay, to actually let us see what our color choices look like in an actual application. Okay, so we'll change the button color to the color of the theme's primary color. That's what we're going to do now. Okay, so now, of course, if you have the recent version of Android Studio, probably dates back a few years. Okay, you by default you have material dependencies in your project already. Okay, so you can see it, com.google.android.material. Okay, so you have it installed, you have it already as a dependency that comes with it. Okay, it wasn't so, back when when they were using Android X, App Compact, and the likes. Okay, so we don't have to set this up. Okay, we don't have to set it up. Also, back then you would have needed to create. Since we want to be talking about theme, would have needed to create a theme, file, an XML file for theme to store our themes. Okay, but we will not need to do that. Why? Because by default, when we just open an application or create a project, rather, we already have themes here. So you can see we have the themes.xml and we have the themes.xml in bracket 9. So this is for the dark mode. We're going to come to that. Okay, how can you implement dark mode? We're going to talk about that also, hopefully, before we round up the class. So we already have a themes.xml file. Of course, I'm going to open it. So what do we have here? Okay, so the name of our theme is tip time, which is the name of our application. Okay, and it inherits from the parent's theme, which is the material components.day-night.dark action bar. Okay, it inherits from that. You can see our primary brand color. So if I show you this application, you can see these colors. So this lighter one is the color primary. The color primary variant is the darker one. Okay, and then the color on the primary, which is the text, the white text, that's the color on the primary. Remember, we did not, when we added a text to our button, we did not specify the color. Okay, but the color on the primary, where is the button? Yeah, we didn't specify. Okay, so but the color on the primary is what? White. Now we have the secondary color. Okay, now where's our secondary color? We see that on the button, on the floating action button. And then you can see this the variant and then the color on the secondary. So by default, you can see the color on the secondary, we have the black here. Okay, now status bar color, okay, we already have that. And then of course it uses the color primary variant, which is this one, which is the darker shade. So this top place is our status bar. So here you can see customize your theme here. You can actually customize your theme and do whatever you actually want here. Okay, so first things first, we're going to go to our manifest file. So here, open this up, open our Android manifest.xml. Now you can see something here. Now where we have this Android theme, you can see it actually points to our style. What style is this? The theme.tiptime. Okay, it points to this. So now let me double click. If you see I double clicked, I did a Control B. Now when I do Control B, I want to see where it is actually declared. And when I click on, you can see where it is declared, src main resource values theme.xml. Now let's create our own and see if we can reference it here. So I'm just going to, how do we create ours? Very, very simple. I can just copy this, okay? And then I can change my style name. I can call it my style. Let's see. I can call it what? My style. And well, I can just leave every other thing. Now I can decide to change some of these colors. Okay, but I won't change it for now. I won't change this for now. So let's just see if we can reference that. So assuming I change this from this to style, you can see it. I have my style. So it now uses the theme that I created. So let's change something to be sure. Let's change this color. So this tip time where you have this. So this is color primary. So assuming I just want to manually put it, let's just choose something else. Let's just choose this. Okay, so let's run that and see if there's a change. Because now you can see my app theme here, the theme that this application, see we have an application tag here. The theme that this application uses is the theme that I created, which is called my style. And I changed the color primary, called the color primary. So let's see if it reflects on the application. And yes, it does. So you can create your own theme with your own colors and then get to use it. You can decide if the whole application will make use of it. Okay, so if I'm using this style here, of course, that means the whole application is going to make use of that style. Okay, so let's move ahead. So let's see if we can learn a bit about, well, I think I've actually even talked about it, but let me just brush through again. Now, let's learn a bit more about theme colors, okay? Now, different parts of the UI for Android applications use different colors, okay? Now, to actually help you use color in a meaningful way in your application, okay, and apply it consistently, the theme system groups colors into 12 named attributes, okay? 12 named attributes, and I'm actually going to I'm going to see what I can do about that. Now, the first one, I'm going to just list them. The first one is the primary. Okay, let's see something. I don't know. I'm trying not to go to, but so so we have a lot here. So, but we have the primary. Okay, we have this primary variant. Okay, just take note of that. We have the primary, variant, we have the secondary, then we have the secondary variant. Okay, we have the background. Okay, background is usually white, that's FFFFFFF, that's 6 of it. We have the surface, we have the error. Okay, we have on primary, we have on secondary, we have on background, we have on surface, and we have on error. Okay, so those are like the 12 named attributes, the grouped colors. Okay, and that's what actually you use it to actually related to you can use it with your text, icons, and what more. So your theme actually doesn't need to specify all of them because you may not use all of them in the application. Okay, so we'll just be choosing the primary and secondary colors, as well as colors for the text and icon that will be drawn on those colors. Okay, so now so just for iteration's sake, just to give you that info. Okay, the on colors are used for text and icons drawn on the different surfaces. So when you say on something, like a typical example, the first group color, the primary, the theme attribute is color primary. The primary variant, you have color primary variants, just like you're seeing here. Okay, the secondary, you have color secondary, you have color secondary variant. Okay, now when it comes to the background, you have color background. When it comes to the surface, you have color surface. When it comes to error, you have color error. Now, when it comes to on primary, you have color on primary. That is the colors that will be used for text and icons drawn on the primary, drawn on that surface. We have on secondary, which is color of secondary. We have color on background, color on surface, and color on error. Okay, so just note that. So let's now go further. Okay, let's move. So let's change. I want us to change something. Okay, so like I showed you before, so if you notice, just after this line, okay, where your style, is actually naming. So here we have a part. This is your style, my style, called my style, okay, and the parent, that means it's inheriting from this theme.material component, and then the name of one of the items is color primary, and then it has this color value. You can see the color value there, which is 800080. Okay, now so the rectangle here, okay, it shows you just a small sample of the color. Okay, that actually helps you. So another thing to note that the colors are specified as color resources. So if you can see here, you can see at color. So I did not actually, hard code the color by writing hashtag 80000080. No. So they use what color resources. That's why you can see at color, MU color, you can see at color / purple 500, right? So it's referencing something. So if I open this colors XML, you can find them here. So you see where you have the color name, and this is the attribute, this is the value. So when you're using it, you don't use this value again, you just call the color name. Okay, you can see that. So let's pick our app theme colors. Okay, let's pick app theme colors. What do we want to use? So let's start with our color primary. Okay, we're using this our own style now. Let's start with our color primary. So let's see. So if I click on this, so we can, well, I've actually chosen. So maybe let's just go with this. It's just I'm trying to think of what will complement this color. I don't want to do a lot of, I don't want to do some color block. What do you guys think? What color would complement this if we were to use this as a primary? That's interesting. Okay, so well, let's just click on this and then so you see there are a lot of material stuff here. A lot. Okay, so let's change. Let me change to this. Let's change to this. Okay. And then for the secondary, okay, for the secondary, let's use, so you can actually do a custom, yeah, so pardon me if my colors don't blend, okay, pardon me if they don't blend, okay, but just to get the idea, okay, so that's actually that. What else? So let's just so you can see we have actually given them a, we have hard coded the color here when we chose it, but we should always apply. We should also always use a resource. So I'm going to just copy this and then go to my color and add it. So I'm going to call this let me call this green, and then I'm going to just add the color code here, and then with that I can now say at color / green. You can see that. So here, I'm going to call this orange. And then I can just, reference that. And then back to my themes, I'm going to say at color, you can see orange there, and then we're good to go. So that's actually that. Okay, so you can keep on, you can do that for, both the for your on primary variant. So I'm going to just change this. Of course, if I'm going to use the primary, then the variant should be something a bit more lighter. Hope that's okay. And then the secondary variant should also be something a bit much lighter. So I'm just going to leave it at this, but it's good to, you can actually just, you should just give them the actual resource, okay? So let's so okay, so let's just do it for the sake of those, so that people will actually follow us. So I'm I just call this light green. I know it's not light green will permit me, but just naming convention, and then I'm just going to call this light orange. Oh, that's funny. That actually sounds funny. Light orange. Okay, so and then change the color code. Okay, good. So that's actually that. So we are now using it in our theme. So let's run the application now and see what we have. So quickly, this is what we had before. Okay, but now by changing the theme colors, okay, and so let's see what we now have. Let's see what we have and what we may need to change. Oh, wow. So this is what we have. Yeah, this is what we have. Yep. So, well, not that bad. It's not that bad. Not that bad. Okay, so that's actually that. That's how you create your own theme and then add your own colors. And of course, it's going to be used throughout the application. So quickly, let's talk about dark theme. Okay, please, if you have any question, okay, just raise your hand or just, drop a chat. Okay, so quickly, let's talk about dark theme. Okay, so we already have themes.xml, the 9th version. So first of all, let me show you how, at least on your emulator, okay, how to actually, check for the night, see how it looks like on the night dark theme. Okay, so it's just simple. Go to your swipe down, go to your settings. Okay, on your emulator. If you're using your phone and your phone has dark theme, that feature, then that's fine. So, but for here, I'm going to do this, and then the battery section, I'll turn on battery saver. Yeah, let's see. Okay, sorry, leave this there. So I'll turn on battery saver. So yeah, turning it on takes me to dark mode. Okay, turning it on takes me to dark mode. So I'm going to now open the application and let's see how it looks on dark mode. So this is how it looks on dark mode. So what happened here? Okay, so let's kill and open again. So we notice that on dark mode, it's not as cool as it should. It's not really the way we would want it, is it? Okay, so there's our primary color here is off, and the likes. Okay, so let's see how we can actually, make a bit of but this is also okay, Sha. This is actually okay. This is actually how it looks on night mode. And then the reason is this because we are using our theme. Okay, we are using our theme. So because we are using our theme here, my style, there is no value for my style in dark mode. So it just uses the same thing it has. Now we can do for dark mode also. Okay, we can actually do for dark mode. Now all I'll just do, I'm just going to copy this, okay, and then put it in the dark mode part. And then I want so for the dark mode, let's say, yeah, so let's just run it and then see what it does. Let's just run it just by adding it. Let's see what change we would have here. Okay, so there's no much change. So let's see. What if we change this to, is there a red here? Or, okay, let's just see what this will do. I'm just changing the color primary. And then let's see, okay. Yeah, so it has an effect on the button. So you can now decide that, okay, on dark mode, this is the color I want for my button on dark mode. But on light mode, so let's return to light mode. Let's return to light mode, okay? So turn off, yeah, and then we'll go to dark mode, light mode rather. Okay, you can see our button returns back to, the color. Okay, so that's actually that. So you can play around with that. Okay, you can actually just play around, with that, and then have, get to design beautiful UIs for, for dark mode and also for light mode. Any question? Any question before we move to the next thing? And the next thing, we're going to be going back to, the application we built before. Any question? If there is none, then let's go back to our tip application. Okay, let's go back to our tip application. So with what we've known, how can we now, make this look a bit much, beautiful? Let's look. So this is what we built. Okay, this is what we built in the last previous class, I think. Yeah. So this is what we built. So how can we create a much more beautiful UI? Okay, so like we talked about, okay, we said material is a design system, a material design. Okay, material is a design system, and it was actually created by Google. Okay, with guidelines, components, tools that support best practices of UI design. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to update this tip calculator, okay, to have a more, very good user experience. Okay, so let's actually do that. So first things first, of course, well, like I said, before, we already have material, dependency, so we wouldn't really need to set up that. Okay, so let's just move forward. Now let's start with our text field. Okay, so Roma is asking, please, can you only change the color of a button through the theme? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can do that. You can do that. So you just have to be able to. Sorry, moving forward, I'm going to actually teach you guys how to target certain. You can actually target certain elements. Okay, and then we'll learn how to create attributes. Okay, so we'll get to that point. But yes, you can. Okay, yes, you can. So let's start with our text fields. Okay, we actually have an edit text here. Okay, for the cost of service. Okay, we already have that. So this works, but it doesn't actually follow the recent material design guidelines on how text fields should look like. Okay, and how it should even behave. Okay, so for well, the truth is, for any new component you want to use, you can actually just learn about it on the material site. Okay, I think I'll drop that probably on Slack for you guys to go through. Okay, so we have a lot. We have the field text field. When I say field, FILLED, we have the field text field. We have the outlined text field. Okay, so we're going to be we're going to talk about some of them. We'll actually just see how they look. We may not use all of them actually, but we'll talk about some of them and how we can actually use them. Okay, so let's move on. So I'm going to now so using when it comes to edit text, okay, when it comes to text input, we have what we have a text input layout that has an enclosed, text input edit text from the material design library, component library. Okay, so what this material text field has is that it displays input text or a label that is always visible. Displays input text or a label that is always visible. Error messages. I know for some of us who have actually, when you're trying to sign up or sign in, okay, and then you now there's an error that comes out. Okay, there's an error that comes out. So that is the helper stuff we're talking about. Okay, so let's move on. So let's do that quickly. So I'm just going to change this edit text, or let me just create it so you get to see it. So text input. So we have the text input layout. Okay, we have the text input layout. Now, we're going to make the width to match the parent, and then the height will wrap the content. Okay, the height will wrap the content. And then I'm just going to close that out. So okay, so I'm just going to take hello, can you hear me? Hello, mic check.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, how long did you lose me for? It seems my network actually just disconnected.
It's like 1 minute back, sir.
1 minute, wow, 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 and I've been talking. Okay, sorry about that, I think it's raining over here, so the network is a bit, not okay. So just give me a second. Let me see if I can switch. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead. I don't know what I said last, but I guess I'll just try to go back a bit. Yeah, so sorry. can actually customize it to display input or a label that's always visible. It can display an icon in the text field, and it can display helper or error messages. Okay, so we're going to add one, and then let me give it an ID of text field. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, really sorry about this network. Okay, so we're going to add a hint attribute, and then I'm going to call it, like a label. Okay, so but let the hint be, I think we have a cost of service stuff. So yeah, so just going to say cost of service as the hint. Okay, and then I'm going to close this. Okay, sorry. We're going to use our text. Okay, so guys, confirm you can hear me, please.
I can hear you, sir.
Height will just wrap the content.
Sorry, sir. Certainly can't see your screen or hear you.
Okay, so yeah, I think network should be better now. Okay, so we have that, and then so let's actually now do some constraints. Okay, so I'm just going to take this constraint here, that we were using. Just going to cut that, and then I'm going to constraint the layout. Okay, so that gives it a constraint. Okay, and then what else? So let's give it the same layout width. Let it have a layout width of 170. 170 dp. So we can now take this. Okay, we can take this out. Actually, we can take this out. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, this is what we have. Yeah. So, but we're not done. Okay, we're not done. So let's confirm it has all the necessary. So in our edit text, that is where we get to now put the impute type, which is the number decimal that we want. Okay, and then the width of match parents, and that is also fine. Okay, so we set in the width to match parents. Okay, the text impute edit text will have the same width as its parent, which is this text impute layout, of which we have 170 dp. Okay, so that's that. So well, we're not going to run this now because of course we have error. If we check our main activity, let's see, are we going to have any error? Yes, we're going to have an error. Now, why is it so? Okay, why do we actually have an error? Now, well, we'll fix it, but let's fix it. Now, check this out, okay? It says unresolved reference text. Now, reason being because our text impute is of a text impute layout. So what we're going to do, okay, what we're now going to retrieve, okay, because before what we were retrieving, we retrieved the cost of the service, okay, but it was a string. But now we're going to be retrieving the user input from the text input edit text. This is where we're going to be retrieving it from. We're going to be retrieving it from here. So that being said, okay, we're going to use our binding dot this. So we do not need this dot text. Okay, so let me get that. So let me be sure of the name. Okay, text imputes. Okay. So let's give this. So we're going to get it from here. So we need an ID for this. So let me say text imputes. So let me call this one text imputes, and then now, okay, let's say edit text. So this will be binding dot text impute edit text. Okay, and then that actually solves that. That sorts that out. Okay. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, so let's see how this looks now. Let's see how this looks. We're basically just made changes to the cost of service. Okay, so let's see how it looks. Okay, so I'm going to close this. Let's see if I can quickly open up how it was looking like before. Okay, so this is what we had before. Okay, so let's see how it looks like now with the changes we have made to the text inputs edit text. Okay, so that's still running, and so I hope you can hear me. Okay, you can just use the chat box. Okay, so that is installing. Yeah. Okay, so this is what we have. So you notice when I click on it, you can see, the hint, cost of service. You can now actually see the hint, and then so the hint is above it. Okay, so that's for the cost of service. So don't worry, the colors, of course, I've taught you about theme, so you can change the color anytime you like. Now, the next we're going to look at is the. So let's see. There is what do we have? So here we're actually using a switch. Okay, I think I remember actually using this material switch. Okay, because there's also guidance for switches. Okay, and we said a switch is just a region where you can toggle a setting on and off. Okay, so there's switch material which we already used, previously. Okay, we've already used this previously, so I think we can actually move on. We can move on from this. Yeah, we can actually just move on. So the next thing is about icons. Okay, so icons are just symbols, okay, that can help the user understand the UI by visually communicating the intended function. So what do I mean? So when a user sees an icon, it does mean an icon, it knows, oh, I think this is a delete. Okay, that means there's a delete function here. This means when I click on this, I should be able to delete something. Okay, so how can we represent icons in application? Okay, I think I actually even showed you one. So there are provided icons already. Material design gives us a number of icons arranged in common categories. Okay, arranged in common what categories. So let's add icons. So we're going to add icons to this next to this cost of service, next to the service question, okay, and then up next to this round up tip. We're going to add, so 3 icons are what we're going to add. So remember how we do it. I'll go to drawable, new vector asset, and then I'm going to click on the clip art, and then the icon I'm looking for. So let's say this one. Yes, let's look at it. So you can see it's categorized. You have the field. If I want to see only the ones with outline or round or sharp, you know, or two-tone, you understand? So field, you can see all of them. You can see action, alert, communication, content, device. So they're all categorized for you. So I'm going to make use of this one. I could just leave that way or rename it the way I want to, and then finish. Okay, so the next one, but well, I could actually, well, let's just move on. So the next one, I need one for the service question. So funny, I'm going to type room service. Yeah, room service, yes, this bell here. Okay. So I could just call it IC underscore service. And then the last one, for the cost of service icon, I will use, I think just search for store. Okay, search for store, and then, yeah, let's use this one, or let's this one. So I could just say IC store. Okay, that's fine. So we've just added vector durables to our application. Okay, but one thing that you need to actually note is that support for vector, it's important to note that support for vector durables on the Android platform was not actually added until Android 5.0, that is API level 21. Okay, so based on how you set up your projects, the minimum SDK for this, you know, you could actually set up the minimum SDK, but I think I think we can confirm that from no, not the manifest, sorry. I think from our Gradle. Yeah, so our minimum SDK here we're using is 23. Okay, so if you want your app to work on older versions, you know, maybe API 18 or so, okay, there's what we call, that's for you to work on older versions, you know, it's actually called backward compatibility. So what you do is you can add, you can add vector durables elements to your build or Gradle. Okay, what do I mean? Here, okay, in this default config, I could add vector drawable dot use support library, and I'm going to set that to true. Okay, so this helps for backward compatibility. Okay, it helps for backward work, so that to make our app work on older versions. Okay, so with this, it enables you to use vector durables on versions, you know, less than API 21. versus converting to PNGs, especially when the project is actually, when your project is built. So let's move on. So you can actually sync that and can sync that. So let's go back and insert these icons now. Okay. So we're going to use image views to display the icons. Okay. We're going to use image view to display the icon. So first of all, let's place an image view, just before, here. So just here. So we're going to add image view. Okay. And then let it wrap content. So I'm just going to close this off. And then let it have an ID of, I'm going to call it icon underscore costs. Now, so let's see. Then let's give it, so I'm going to use the app src compat. And then I think and say store. Yeah, we have that. So we have that image there. So I'm going to add one property called important for accessibility. Okay, I'm going to set this to no. Okay, so the reason is because this image is used for decorative purposes only. So it's not really important for, it's just for decorative purposes. Okay, so now we have not constrained it yet. So of course, that's why we have what an error. Okay, so let's do that quickly. So I'm going to constrain the start to the start of the parents. Okay, that goes. Now the next thing, I'm going to constrain the bottom to the bottom of this cost service. So bottom, I hope that's the cost of service. Okay, that's our text input. Okay, and then I'm going to also constrain the top to the top of this guy. So you see that actually just centers that. Okay, so but if you can see it, it's still, it's like it's overlapping or something. So well, how do we solve that? Well, I'm just going to give this a margin start of, let's say, 16 dp. That pushes it out, but I don't think 16 is enough. So let's say 24. Let's see. 24 is still not enough. Well, let's say 32. Okay. Okay, so that's fine. I think that's a bit okay. That's a bit okay. So let's insert other ones. Okay, let's insert other ones. So I'm going to be a bit lazy and then just copy this. So we want to add one for the how was your service. So let me just put this here. But I'm now going to, so this is icon question. Let's call it a question. How was your service? It's a question. So I'm just going to take out this constraint, or well, better still, I don't need to. I want it to, the bottom should be to the bottom of the cost text. Okay, the top should be at the top of cost text also. You can see that, and then start to start of parent, which is also fine. Okay, which is also fine. That's that, and then also we need that space. So we need that space. So I'm just going to copy this margin start and add that to this text view. So we have a margin start. Now, I think I'm just going to give a margin top of, let's say, 16 dp. That guy kind of just gives them a bit of room. Well, you can actually just do that later, but that's fine. Okay, so yeah. So let's improve. Let's do something. Now, if you look at these radio buttons, you see we're placing icons here, but this radio group, it's directly under. So of course, we do not want it to be here. So I'm going to change something. I'm going to update the constraint on this radio group. So we have, before it was start to start of parents, but now I'm going to make it start to start of this question. So so let's say cost text. Yeah, so that pushes it, inside. Okay, so what else? So let's do the last one, which is the roundup tip. So I'm just going to copy this image view again. Yeah, just before this, I'm gonna paste this. So this is icon for roundup. And then so what's the roundup? Okay, it's called roundup switch. So bottom to bottom of roundup switch. Yeah, top to top of roundup switch. Yes, exactly. That's what we want. And then of course in here, we're going to put a margin start of I think 32 dp, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's what we did. Okay. Okay, so that's actually that. That's that. Yeah, so this is what we have now. So one last thing, let's give this, we're just trying to make things look a bit much more better. And then let's give this top button a bit of space. Margin top, SF 8 dp. So yeah, that's that. So you can see we have two colors here. Of course, we know where that's from. Okay, that's from our theme. Okay, that's actually from our theme, our color primary and then secondary. So let me change this. So remember, you have to change back, always reference the resource, but so now I just want it to look a bit different from what it usually looks like. So just making those little changes. Okay, so yeah. So let's just run this and then let's see what we have. So this is what we have now. So let's see what we have, with the little changes that we have actually made. So we're going to create some specific theme. So I hope we have enough time. So let's just keep moving. Okay, so this is what we have. I hope you can see my screen. Yeah, so this is what we have. Yeah, not the best of color choices, but something to work with. And of course, I hope, yeah, we're still working. Functionalities are still fine. Okay, so let's move on. Now let's do a few things. Let's now implement styles and themes. Okay, let's implement styles and themes. Okay, so remember we said a style is a collection of attributes, and then theme is just a collection of styles. Okay. So let's create styles. Let's create styles. Let's create a style. So let's go to, so I'm going to, so I want my style name now. I want us to create a new text view style. Okay, so that the text appears consistent throughout the application. Okay, so we'll define the style once. Okay, we'll define it just once, and then we'll apply it to all the text views in the layout. Okay, so yeah, you could actually define a style from scratch, or you can actually extend from an existing text view style from the MDC library, Material Design Component Library. Okay, so note, when starting a component, you to generally extend from a parent style of the widget type you are using. And this is important for two reasons. One is that it makes sure all important default values are set on your component. And then two, your style will continue to inherit any future changes to that parent style. So you can name your style anything you like, but there's a recommended convention. Now, that was the convention. If you inherit from a parent material style, then you name your style in a parallel way by substituting the material components with your app name. Okay, what this does is that this moves your changes into its own namespace so that to eliminate the possibility of for future conflicts when material components introduces maybe a new style. Okay, so so this is an example. So for example, our style name could be, let's say, widget. Okay, dot, we'll call the app our app name. So what is our app name? Tip. Okay, and then you can say let's just do this dot text view. Okay, and then it should inherit from a parent. Okay, it should inherit from a parent. And so let's say widget dot material components. Let's go. Dot text view. Okay, so you could close that off. So this gives you your style. So what did we say? So you reverse it. Okay, we have the parallel way. Okay, you substitute. If you're inheriting from a parent material, then you name your style in parallel. You substitute the material components with your app name. So instead of saying theme.material components, you say, or widget.material components. So you can see widget.material components. So remove material components and then substitute it with our application name. So now let's set up our text view style so that it overrides the minimum height attribute, gravity attributes, and text appearance attributes. Now the minimum height attribute, it sets a minimum height of 48 density pixel on the text view. The smallest height for any row should be 48 according to the material design guidelines. Okay, so you can center the text in the text view vertically by using the gravity attribute. Okay, we had center, vertical, and the likes. Okay. Now, so let's focus on so the first item, the item name. So we said we're going to, for this style, we want the minimum height, okay, to be 48 dp. We want the gravity, okay, to be center vertical. And then we want the text appearance just want text appearance without anything. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, so we want the text appearance to have so there's this text appearance body one. Let's use this. Okay. So this is the text appearance we want. So let's now apply this particular text, this particular style to our service question. Okay, so how do we do that? It's very simple. Just go to our service question, which is this. So please, you can actually look at, this is how it looks like now. This is how it looks like now. So when we apply the style that we just created, so this is the text view. So I'm just going to call style, and then I'm going to just type text view. think it's part of the name of the style, so I can look for it. So you can see it here, widget.tip.textfield, which is what we created. And there you see it changes. It changes. So let me add a top margin here of just 10. I'll kind of give it a bit of space. So you can see that's what changes. So this is going to now be applied to this text, to this particular text view. That's just what we did. We're applying it to this particular text view. Okay, so let's move on. So this same style, okay, now if you specify an attribute in a style, let's say like the text size to be 18, and also specify that same attribute in the layout file. What do I mean? If we set maybe for the text size, one of the items, sorry, which is text size, if we set it to the text size, so there should be a text size. Okay, so if we set, let's just move on. If we set this to 18, okay, let's say. Now, you can see something here. Okay, sorry. So when you now come down, so we have set this style to be 18 SP, okay? But in our text view, we have given it, so did we give any text size here? No. So what if we now still give a text size value here of, let's say, 45 SP? So it changes. Why? So the value you set in the layout, okay, will be applied, not the one you set on the theme. Okay, so just take note of that. Just take note of that. So I'm just going to take this out. Okay. So now the same style, we want the same style to be, applied to this round up tip. Okay, but we can actually set a text view style on a, switch widget. Okay, because text view styles can only be applied on text views. So we can create a new style for the switch. The attributes are, in same terms, minimum height, everything. But what's different here is the style name and parent, because now we're going to inherit from the switch style. So what do I mean? So for the switch, I can just copy this. Okay, so I can name this my switch dot switch, and then I can now inherit from. So so remember what we said about switching stuff. So I'm going to be inheriting from material components dot there's what we call compound. I don't know if it's here. So widget material components. Okay, let me confirm something. Compound button. Do we have that here? I don't think it's added. Okay, well, well. Okay, so let's see. Do we just have a switch? Okay, let's try something. I want to see something. What do I have for switch? I have widgets of material 3. Okay, well, let's use that. Let's use that. So tip. Okay, so let me change this to compound button. Okay, yeah. So that's actually fine. Okay, so Yeah, so we have 48. Well, okay, so everything should just be the same. So we're basically just changing a few things. Well, but we can still add other things. We can add other things. Okay, but before that, while you're creating this, as you're creating this style, we can add some padding between the radio buttons. Padding start and the likes. Okay, I'll show you what that does. Okay, I'll show you what that does. But before, so I could decide to add padding. I can add a padding start. So this is just how it is now. Okay, so when I add, let's say padding start, I'll give it a value of, let's say 8 dp. Okay, and then now one thing I want to actually, this is optional, but it's actually very important also, to create a dimension XML, that is dimens, because it's short form dimens. Now, basically, we use it to improve manageability of frequently used values. Okay, so we can create that. What do I mean? Just create it in our res. Or let's values rather. New value resource file. And then I'm going to call this dimens. That is short for dimension. Okay, yeah. So I could add a dimension. For the name, I'm going to say minimum text height. Okay, and then the value would be 48 dp. And then I get to now reuse it. Okay, instead of having to, so let me just close this out. I get to now reuse it. Instead of having to write 48 everywhere, I get to just reuse it. So I could say at dimen, you can see minimum text height, change this to at dimen, minimum text height. Okay, yeah, so that's actually that. So let's add these styles, okay, to our team. So we actually have not applied it to the radio button and all that. So let's now talk. So we've talked about styles, right? So let's talk about the themes. Okay, we'll talk about the styles. So let's add these styles that we've created to our themes. So remember, I said theme is a collection of what styles, okay, or collection of named resources, okay, that can be referenced later in your styles, in your layout. So you can specify a theme for an entire application, an activity, or view hierarchy, not just an individual view. So let's see. Let's see. So let's go to so we're already here. We have the style. So okay, we've actually just so we just did it directly. Now you could actually have created a style XML separately, but we've done that directly. So we've applied it to okay. So but this, okay, we just created, okay, this style, okay. So we need to apply it to our theme because this is just a, okay, so widget, this, that. Okay. Okay, so let's see. So how can we add it to our theme here? Because this is just a style, that we created. Okay, so let's add it to our theme. So how can we, do that? So I'm just going to say item name. The item name, I'm going to say text impute style. Okay, so the text impute style. What kind of style should we use for text impute? I'm now going to call at style widget tip text view, which we created. Okay, but before that, let's use something else. let's use this text impute layout outlined box. Okay. So we're going to use this. Let me add a comment here. So I'm going to duplicate this so I can actually reuse it. So so for this particular style we're using, this is for our text impute field. Text impute fields. That's where we're going to apply this style. And then the next one, we're going to apply for the radio buttons. Okay, for the radio buttons. And then we'll then apply for the switches, the switch, or call it switches. Okay, so for the radio button, okay, it's just to say we'll add the item name. Now, radio button style, we already have that embedded. So what radio button style are we going to use? What button style are we going to use for the radio button? Okay, and of course, it's the one we created, which is the widget. So I'm just going to type tip so that I can actually see, yeah, the one we created, which is this one. Yeah, so this is the one we created, and that's what we're calling here. And then for the switch, okay, no. This is what we should use for the switch. So permit me to just copy this. We should use this for the switch. And then for the switch, it's going to be switch style. Yeah, so we have all these names. So for the radio button style, I'm going to use, there's a, okay, so okay, so let's just, okay. So yeah, this style doesn't exist, but I can create it. I want the radio buttons, so they should be the ones that will have. So I'm just going to take this. Okay. And then replace this. Okay, yeah. So it should take from the radio button, yeah. And then of course, we don't need the mean height for this one. Padding start and gravity, in fact, don't even need gravity. Yeah, so these two attributes are fine. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we have added these styles to our theme. Okay, we've added it to our theme. Okay, so you need to make sure that the same thing you did here you need to do it for the dark mode too. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to copy this. Okay, please careful not to unmute your mic or activate your video. So I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to add it to. Okay, so we do not have. Okay, yeah. So we just need to add it here. Yeah. So add it to the night mode also. Okay, so let's run that and see what we have. So currently this is what we have already. So let's see the few changes we've done, and then we'll just look at, I think, one or two things. I hope we're able to finish this today. No, I don't think we are, but I think we'll round up here. So probably in the next class, we'll finish it up. We'll finish it up in the next class. Okay, so this is what we have. Well, we have a color here that is actually not what we want it to be. So we'll have to fix that. So you can see this outline box. So this looks a bit much better. Yes, and this is from the text impute style. We are using the outline box. So you see it looks much more better. Okay, so we did not we didn't use the actual icon. So I think I'm going to need to, change that quickly. I'm going to change that quickly. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay. So this service, okay, roundup. We have something like, what do we call it? Let me confirm. So for the roundup, I think we should use the okay, and then for the okay, and then so the service own, service. So this should be service. So of course we copied and pasted, so that's why. Okay, yeah, so they have different. So I think this is where we're going to round up, okay? And then, so the next class, we'll get to look at, we'll just touch, some few things, okay? How to hide keyboard, when the enter key, is being pressed, when you actually press the enter key, how to hide, the keyboard. And so we'll look at that and then move on to, something much more interesting. Okay, so guys, thank you very much. Any question before we round up? Any question? Okay, so in the absence of none, so thank you very much, guys, and do have a wonderful time.